Okay, so I just love how YouTube just completely, or the internet just completely on me there. So I was talking, and yeah, YouTube decided, or the internet decided that they should no longer be together and broke up. So here we are, new stream. For those that are wondering, I am done with fake CC2, at least for today. I am gonna be in the stream off here shortly. So if you end up watching this video, you don't have to worry about it. Watch the other one that's like 2 hours plus long. Sorry about that. Blame YouTube, I guess, or my internet. Who knows? Who cares? I guess you guys and I care, but regardless. I was pretty much just talking about the set maps here and how I view about them. So this probably got lost in when everything went down. So pretty much, when I was ranking them in terms of difficulty, I consider the newest map, the first map, the Mudrock map, but they get, Gamophones, to be the worst, most difficult map with the set risks involved and what you require to make it easy. And if you don't, well, screw you. You're doing max risk anyway. And even then, it kind of helps, requires you to do something about it. And there's like certain operators that work, certain operators that don't. Then again, I'm forgetting about Magellan too, technically. So some people are gonna say Magellan. Watch the second live stream, mate. I just said Magellan. I completely forgot about her, but she exists too. I did use her when that event came around, so there you go. Aside from Magellan, in that talk, the second worst map is, of course, the Chinese event map. With I'm just being stupid with names now. It's not really coming for me, but essentially that the New Year's event map with the Chinese enemies. They're pretty much using the shield guards to defend. That one is the second most difficult. What requires some damage output or being able to attack. Why is there what are you doing? What? OBS. OBS. OBS, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, I mean, no flipping clue. I mean, I'm looking at my bits and it's having a hard time. Yeah, this is something I hate about YouTube. YouTube is just a crybaby sometimes. I think it's having issues, I think. I'm gonna say this right now. I have a feeling the live stream on YouTube hates what I'm doing right here. So might as well do that. See if that fixes it or does anything about it. Okay, maybe it did. Okay, I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, so yeah, talking about that. Second map's the hardest. The third hardest map would definitely be Pooh. And then I think the easiest might actually be the second map, because you have a lot of options, there's a lot of tiles I can use for and against with. I love the map design, and I think that was by far the best out of the 4 set maps. And I think it's actually better than the permanent map, in my honest opinion. Which then again, I generally think that a lot of the time, so bite me, I guess, if you don't agree with that. I'm generally view the side maps more favorably than the permanent maps a lot of the time. There are a few exceptions, but even with those few exceptions, some of them get worse as time went on when they decide to weaken the effect of the map, which is kind of like, what's the point of the map then if you just make it unusable to the advantage of the player? I think some really good maps were like CC to CC1 Not necessarily CC2. I don't think CC2 was that great. I think just having a few stun options wasn't that great of a benefit to the player. CC3, to a degree. To a degree, I feel like that one's mixed. Yes and no. Was it CC4 or CC5? The one with the vents, that one was actually a really good one. Because it pretty much made it so, like, you could either choose to go against the events or not go with the events, but being able to do a lot more with range, or you go with the events to your advantage and do a lot more. And I think that one was a really good one. So a lot of CC times when it comes to permanent maps were mixed, so they're not always the best, but sometimes they can be better than the side maps. But that isn't always the case, and I feel like they lost that mentality of map design with the last ones. And I think it's mostly because they feel like it'd be too easy or too much for the player. To me, I want CC to be difficult, but use everything to your max potential, even the map itself, and whatever map mechanic it is, to deal with the threats with the enemies plus the risks. And I feel like a lot of the time, it just doesn't feel like that. Anyway, I'm curious to see if they if we actually, I don't know how long this actually will take before I actually start showcasing the glitch. Anyway, so that aside, overall, how do I feel about CC2? I like CC2 more than CC1, at least the permanent map-wise. But I could honestly say I'm all over the place, considering the difference of the side maps for fake CC1 and fake CC2. So honestly, I don't really know who I would want to crown as like the best set side maps. So that's how I kind of feel. Anyway, now I think a lot of people still, to a degree, overly hate CC2. Like, sure, I'm not a big fan of CC much anymore. Just the idea of challenge for the sake of challenge. I'm not always a big fan of that. It just comes down to how they balance it and how the community reacts to it. And to me, I'm not that fond of the idea and the balancing with it. While that may be the case, I still like the side maps, and I don't think the UI is as bad as people make it out to be. I think it's a lot better than people think it is. Regardless. I don't think there's really much else to notice with CC, fake CC2 here. I know I wanted to mention that because a lot of people say it's still bad, and it's like, I disagree with that. Well, I may disagree with that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to know. Oh yeah, the shop. I know, it's like I was thinking of the shop, but then I was not really like actually thinking about saying anything about the shop. So yeah, the shop, I think it's gone worse. 100%. I know that's a thing that the CM player realized, and that there's those complaints with it, but I didn't realize the amount of points used is worse too. So the amount of points they give you is not as enough as they used to give you for the old CC, which means that it's harder to actually get all the items in the CC, meaning that you have your main permanent CC shop items, and then you have your CC shop items with only that CC. And the amount of points that they give you does not give you enough of the exclusive unique stuff and the new exclusive unique stuff for both shops. And it's gonna, I think if they continue down this route, if they continue with this philosophy they have, I think it's gonna be the point where you have to choose between the permanent stuff or the unique limited stuff with each CC. And it's gonna get really bad if that happens. Like, I'm generally being serious when I say that. Because right now, I only have like less than 700 points for someone who's done both CCs completely in terms of challenges and like that. Not a lot! I feel like they gave you more from the first one than this one. So my hope is that if they do bring it back again, which who knows what they're even doing, if they're going to bring this back or not. Go play Pokerogue. At this point, I'm not farming. I'm just showcasing the glitch. If this glitch is still a thing, which I was talking about, like the fake poo here. But regardless, I think I said all I wanted to really say when it comes to both at least fake CC2 here and some very specific important things to say. Now, I know you really want me to play Pokerogue. Obviously, tonight that's not gonna happen. But, I don't know if I'll touch it. We'll see. I could, I might, it's not a guarantee. I will, or at least I hope I will, unless something sprouts up or I just don't feel like it. I do want to touch the new horror game, or play a new horror game tomorrow. AKA, I will be playing Decimate Drive tomorrow. I think it'll be a fun stream. And if we have time tomorrow, I might try out Pokerogue. I'd have to look into it to see if I need to download an app, if it's just on browser, whatever may be the case. I will, at least to Decimate Drive, we'll see if we have time. I might do Pokerogue. I know that, like, to me, I don't feel like I'll like it, but I know you really want me to play. Oh yeah, obviously, duh. That doesn't surprise me in the least. The idea that Gen 3 mons are insane does not surprise me. Like, when I hear all the time that power creep is a thing in Pokemon, and that not Gen 9 is like the worst victim of it, like the good showcase of the power creep. It's a browser thing. I thought it was like an emulator with using a ROM hack. Okay, so you can use Google, Discord, and other stuff. Okay. We'll try that out tomorrow then, if it's that easy to do. We'll try it out after Decimate Drive if we have time. Log into create an account and start. No email required. Cool. We'll check that out tomorrow then, I guess. And by the way, for those that are wondering, I do have Decimate Drive. So I don't know what else is here, but Decimate Drive is what we'll be playing tomorrow. Fairy Steel would be... What's Fairy Steel? Take a ton. Right? And then the Dragon Steel would be like the evolution of Dralagadon from Gen 8 to I can't remember what it's called. Right? So like the pseudo new Gen 5 and 9 combo evolution. And then essentially the fan favorite Corviknight killer. Essentially. Yeah, that would be insane. But technically, I think the good ground type for the Dragonon evolution, I think, is it Steel Dragon still? I can't remember. I think it is. Well, obvious. Wait, is this Steel Fairy? Yeah. So ground type still would be the best option. Okay, you're not investing heavily enough into ground types, mate. Or a Pokemon that can handle them with a ground type move. Unless they somehow have like floating balloon, but you could just go with I don't know if it's doubles or singles, but even then you could probably find a way to handle it. Yeah, certain Pokemon it wouldn't even matter as much, but certain others, you know, you'd probably go with like ground type. Unless they have balloon, but who knows? I don't play it, so I don't know what's common and what's not common, but anyway, yeah, I can actually see a lot of the some of the Paradox Pokemon being good. I don't know what's meta nowadays. I feel like the Ruinous Crods, who I think are probably still really good aside from one of the four. The starters. Earthquake kills my teammate and you can't have to continuous fighting? I mean, I feel like that's a scenario where you have to get a teammate that has a flying type or a balloon on and use that to your advantage. I know I've heard at some point there was like a decent usage of like Dragonite with Nemolium Z, not Nemolium, Terra Normal. They're bad. So, is there microtransactions in it? I feel like there's like probably plenty of flying types you could use that could work with that. You could probably make a pseudo ice team with Articuno. Assuming you can get Articuno. Articuno, I could see some use case if they had the Gen 9 snow mechanics. Hail mechanics, certainly now snow. But that's assuming, you know, Gen 9. If everything like Gen 9 mechanics are introduced into Pokerogue, then I would say something like that. Like, Articuno, I could see be a good partner case. So it's not no microtransactions. You have to get tickets by getting to a certain point in the game. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. What else is there to note? YouTube videos. Okay. So I did get at least some videos done. I am going to be splitting up probably about, I would say, 3 videos so far. I would say for fake CC2 here. The first 2 set of maps, and then the other 2 set of maps. Nice. What else? I did get the one deep investigation done as a video. So I'll probably do the deep investigation whenever I remember to. Because I want to stream tomorrow. I may end up working more on videos, probably. We'll see. I don't know exactly when. But, again, I'll let you guys know when I do decide to stream. And I will get those videos up before, hopefully, the next event, or at least before next month. We'll see. I mean, given the fact I want to stream more this month, especially with horror games, it's... Ooh, we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to prioritize a day or 2 to focus on getting videos done and putting up on YouTube. Let's go. But at least, it's probably at least 3 for CC2, fake CC2, and then we have the one for the deep investigation for S4. What else? I don't think there's anything else when it comes to YouTube side of things. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything else to know at this point except just waiting. I don't remember how long this took actually normally. All I know is that it takes a bit normally anyway, but I don't know if it's active or not. How long has it actually been? It's been over 30 minutes so far. This is probably one of those things that, honestly, I should really do off screen to show, because it's like, it normally took forever to do. I'm gonna give it like 5 more minutes here, because I do not remember if I did it, how long I did it for, but I think I did way over the timing. It's usually 30 minutes. So I'll kind of explain the glitch here, and then I'll talk about the submit drive here, and then I'll try to finish this up here. Because I think it would take too long if I just let this way. So, the glitch. So what is this each even doing, essentially? Well, it is based around the mechanic, or at least a mechanic that the game that they put in as like a just case scenario for the game. Not, I don't think for the game like not freeze up or glitch out, essentially. So whenever you have a character use a skill, it has a certain amount of deletion before it ends. Well, most character skills like that. Well, there is a weird scenario with unlimited time skill. So even though you could technically have an unlimited time skill for a character, there is still a slow depleting bar. But because of how long it is, to not, you know, confuse the player, it's generally like 30 plus minutes before it ever depletes. So generally, for the most part, most players would never get to a scenario where the timing of their skill runs out and that they can press the skill again, which doesn't do anything, by the way, for the most part. But a lot of the time, it's just a precaution for the game so that it's just obvious that it doesn't crash or anything like that. Since all skills do that, it's just the easiest way to go about it without the game going crazy. Well, the thing is, obviously you're not supposed to meant to take that long anyway, but you can technically use skills. Like for instance, Thorns have to use a skill second time for his S3, S2 Blaze, whatever skill that is pretty much quote-unquote infinite duration. This is where the visual glitch comes in. That's why I say it's a visual glitch. Now, generally nothing happens when you press it again, nothing changes. But Touye is different. Touye is interesting because technically, while it is an infinite skill, it's only infinite skill until all of the charges are used, or the bullets. But this is not a bullet skill. You see, later on, they introduce bullet skills. We all know them. Lumen is a good example of a healer with bullet skill. There's a lot more bullet skill characters in the game. But Touye, it's not. So, you end up in a situation where the game is doing that countdown, but it's interesting because you can't see it. What's essentially happening is like all the infinite other duration skills, her infinite duration is going down as well. So, what happens after a certain point? Well, the game thinks that to an extent that her skill right now is technically fully charged up. Even though technically it's like a bullet where it's 3, the game thinks that even though you use a few skill usage, like for instance right now we have 1 charge out of 3, it suddenly thinks that's 3 out of 3. And like it's weird because like it visualizes it, but after you use the 3 skills, that doesn't happen anymore for the infinite duration. Like it's weird how the game checks it. Essentially, what's supposed to happen normally is that after the 3rd skill, you pretty much have to wait for the charge to scale up again, and everything's normal. Well, if you, what we're doing here, wait for a millennium for the pretty much invisible bar to go down, the game will then reactivate the skill. When it reactivates the skill, it will glitch out. So when it glitches out, she will have essentially infinite duration of her skill, which in turn can essentially keep Surtur alive by herself. That is actually really big if you have not seen any Surtur showcases where she does the most DPS on her own. It's usually like 6 to 7 healers on Surtur herself. Now, with that being said, is the glitch still here after many months, including on the EN version, because both EN and CN have had the same glitch? Hold on to the stream, ran up. Now, I don't know, it's actually been 5 minutes and I still haven't done anything. I think this is over the duration, by the way. So, at least I think it is. I could be completely wrong. I don't know if the glitch is still in the game. So we'll see. But anyway, the last thing is to mention before, unless something happens, is Decimate Drive. So this is a game that I've been talking about for some time. I actually showcased it in my wish list for Steam some time ago, like about a month or two. Oh, there we go. Never mind, I'm gonna shut up now. So let's see, is the glitch still in the game? So I'm gonna go back to Decimate Drive here. Is the glitch still in the game? Yes, the glitch is still in the game. No, it isn't. Okay, they did fix it. Okay. So that's interesting. So I'll pause there. So they did fix it. They did fix the glitch. Okay. But they didn't at the same time. Because she did 4 charges. Like, she did, like, how many? 1, 2, 3, about 3, 4 charges? Even though she had 1 charge? So, what's interesting here is that they somewhat fix it. So, as I mentioned before, she has this infinite charge, but her skill is an automatic use of it after a certain amount of time. As we already said, when the infinite charge, about 30 minutes, is over with, it automatically does the skin. But most of those characters, you have to press a button and automatically that does it again, but doesn't do anything. But with Tuye, a couple months ago, and I would say about like 6 months ago at this point, or more, for both Ian and way more for Cian. I think it's actually more than 6 months. It might have been a year. I don't know how long it's been since this glitch was a thing. But again, essentially, the skill will end up being infinite use case, because the game glitches out, thinking that it's technically done, but now you're in another 3 use case of the skill. That's infinite duration, but because you're still in the first use case, it doesn't use the first case, and it's just infinite. It just doesn't know, and it doesn't understand what it needs to do. But, right then and there, it shows that they wasn't fully fixed. So while it's not an infinite durationable skill usage, it uses at least 4. So it used the 1 from the one that would be charged, then he used 3 more, and then didn't do any more. Technically, she was able to keep Surtur alive. But because it's not infinite duration, obviously she couldn't really keep her alive. But I think that's all there is to know. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those cases where, yeah, I think I do eventually kill the enemy, but we're not going to worry about that. First try refunded.
Where did I go wrong?
Funny how I got that completely refunded fully, because I never lost that map. Anyway, I don't think there's really much else to note about that used to be glitch. I thought it was a really cool glitch, but I can understand why the developers removed it, because it creates a scenario where if you use in certain situations the right way, you can get situations where it's like, oh, you can essentially keep Surtur alive forever, and that could be really bad for the game for some reason. The issue is that it takes 30 minutes, and 30 minutes is way too long for any map for there to be any use case with it to begin with. So the fact that I don't know if it was intentionally fixed or not. Maybe they did something on the side and it just fixed it. Who knows? But it's been fixed in some way, shape, or form. If it was intentional or not, who knows? Okay. I think that's all there is to note when it comes to that glitch.
Is there anyone else here?
I was curious if it was still in the game, but it wasn't. That's fine. That's fine. It would have been kind of cool though to showcase it, but it's not. But regardless,
Good morning.
I think that is it for today's live stream. I think at this point you kind of got the general gist of the plan, at least for tomorrow, at least what I probably will end up doing. A focus on Decimate Drive, and then Poke Road.
Good morning. A dream.
So I might as well kind of talk about Decimate Drive.
Don't you think?
So Decimate Drive is a horror game. It's a horror game where you're essentially dodging cars. It's that simple, but in gameplay, it's stupid funny. I think that's the best way to describe it. So I think it's gonna be a fun watch. It's not really like a really bad horror game, by the way. It's not like really scary or anything. From what I understand, from what I've seen of the game and its story, the story is not really like anything to write home about. If anything. So that's not its main point. I think the best thing about Decimate Drive is the fun watch factor. For a lot of people, you're probably gonna enjoy watching it than playing it. And I think it'd be kind of fun for me to see how I go about playing it. It's one of those games that I wanted to play for some time, but I wanted to wait until October to play it. But that will be for tomorrow. At least that's the plan anyway. And that's it. We got done with the daily map. Again, watch the last live stream. Because YouTube's being stupid. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else to mention that I've already mentioned. I will off stream here focus on the last medal. But aside from that, I'm gonna end it off here. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, /follow. Description below is Discord, so please go check it out. Aside from that, look your summons, go on Shining Team. I think I already said that. And there you go. I'll see you guys later. Peace.